Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sports Ball with Palmer. On this episode, I will be talking about Michigan's victory Saturday night against New Mexico, and then we'll be previewing their upcoming massive matchup against the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, Oklahoma. As this is the first time these two programs are ever facing off. So it'll be a fun game this Saturday night in Norman. And just to get on my soapbox very, very quickly, college game day, and they did announce it during game day on Saturday that they will be heading to Norman for game day this upcoming Saturday. And I will say this again, as a Michigan fan, cool. I like Michigan, and it's cool to see them being on game day. Obviously, it's going to Oklahoma, but they'll be on game day. But they should be going to Columbia, Missouri, for the border war between Missouri and Kansas. Uh, and again, a Michigan fan, but once again, it just feels like they're choosing brands over games. And I know there's not obviously a lot of games, big games next week. And of course, this is a top 25 matchup, but, and I know, and I think Michigan is going to be a lot better than they were last year, but it's still like, okay, Michigan's coming off a down year. Obviously, Oklahoma had a down year. I don't think, again, Oklahoma should be ranked because, and again, just caring way too much about preseason rankings that don't mean anything. But like based off what of last year, what makes you think Oklahoma should be ranked going into this season? Like they shouldn't be. So I feel like if Oklahoma was not ranked, they would not be going to this game. Now, again, hopefully because Missouri will have some bigger matchups. I mean, I know and I'll talk about it when I recap the college football weekend. Alabama lost, so hopefully they're still decent enough that they're still ranked when they play Missouri, and hopefully Missouri ends up ranked by then. And then they could potentially come when they play South Carolina, or maybe even A&M. So, I mean, while it stinks, but like the Missouri Kansas rivalry until it ended, it was the second longest running rivalry in college football in general, and the longest running rivalry uh, west of the Mississippi. And I'm going to talk about that when I talk about recapping, or not recapping, because I already recapped Mizzou's win, but when I talk about their upcoming game against that school to the west. But that's just my little soapbox. I feel like game day should be going there instead of this Michigan Oklahoma game. Now, obviously, is this still a huge, huge game? And obviously, I'm sure they don't say who all ended up in consideration. I would hope they ended up, because I'm sure there's a handful of games. And again, they usually don't make that announcement until the week before, and usually during that show. So, uh, hey, again, it's cool. So, but anyways, recapping their game against the New Mexico Lobos. Yeah, ended up kind of being a little bit closer than what I was hoping. But I mean, hey, it was still a you know multi-score victory. So, but Michigan ended up winning this game 34-17. And hey, the Bryce Underwood era at Michigan has officially begun. It's officially here. Oh man. Oh, he looked really, really good in this game. I mean, again, were there moments he looked like a freshman quarterback? Yeah. Like I kind of figured there would be moments he looked like a freshman quarterback. But again, it's week one. You know, he's only going, and I hope, but he's going to only get better every week. At least you hope, but I'm confident he will be get better each week as the season progresses. But man, he again, there was just throws he made, and I was like, man, if you had that last year, I don't think they would have gone 8-5. They would have been better. So, man, I and it's Homer, but I really think people are sleeping. No. There's some people. I have seen it. There are some people picking Michigan to be good. But I don't think they're picking them kind of like I did, winning the Big Ten and making the playoff. I don't think I've seen that, but I have seen people like, okay, they'll probably be 8-4, 9-3. But I really think they can be 10-2, 11-1. I mean, and that's even if they lose this game, then, but I don't, spoiler, I don't think they're going to lose this game. But outside of that, like, okay, Nebraska, USC, and then, of course, the big one, Ohio State at the end of the year. Like, out of those, like, kind of those road games, USC, Nebraska, and then, I mean, this one is in contention, being a road game, but I just think they're going to go 10-2 or 11-1. I really do. Because this defense, and before I get back to like Bryce Underwood, but man, the defense looked good. But man, Bryce Underwood looked really good in this game. Like I said, again, there was moments he looked like a true a freshman, and that's to be expected. Like he's probably going to have other moments this year where he does look like a freshman. But man, that upside is just, oh man, the upside is there. He ended up 21 of 31 for 250 yards and only one touchdown. But, and he didn't really, I mean, okay, he had -5, which some of that is on sacks. I wish, like, sack yardage didn't add into the rushing total. So I honestly can't think of what his rushing total would have been without those sacks. But, you know, he didn't really use his legs in this game. Now I'm kind of okay with that because again, it's New Mexico. Uh, there's bigger games on the schedule again this week. Oklahoma. I mean that Nebraska game, USC. When you play Michigan State, when you play Ohio State, those are going to be bigger games, and I can expect that they'll utilize his legs a lot more in those games. But this week, this past week, this game, I'm fine with it. You were never there was times where it kind of got close, but you were never truly in danger of losing this game. And again, end of the day, a win, you won. That's all that matters. Like you could say, "Oh, it was New Mexico," because I know freaking Ohio soft fans are out there like, "Oh, you only played New Mexico and kind of like ended up barely beating them, and we played the number one team." Like, okay, again, you won, cool, congrats, Ohio soft. And again, I'm going to talk about that game when I preview the college football weekend. But man, again, and I said it on the Kansas State previous episode, like there was just a lot of ugly games, and that's kind of to be expected week one. Again, you're not going to truly know a lot of what Michigan is and just a lot of these teams until the middle of September, end of September, first part of October, once conference play really starts. Because, okay, yeah, Michigan, but again, I'll look at the schedule, and I know this is one of the bigger, and obviously, okay, Missouri and Kansas, but there's not too many. Like, a lot of teams are just playing cupcakes. Like, okay, cool. Like, Ohio soft is playing Grambling. Like, you're not going to know anything about Ohio State until they start conference play. So, like, kind of like, now you're going to know a little bit more about Michigan this week playing Oklahoma. So, but even then, just even kind of looking at their games, or at least game after that, then they play Central Michigan to close out non-conference play. You're not really going to know a lot about them against Central Michigan. Again, you'll find out a little bit more this week playing Oklahoma, but you're really going to find out what this Michigan team, once conference play starts, September 20th when they head to Lincoln, Nebraska to play the Cornhuskers. And then again, I don't think Wisconsin, but like, okay, then Wisconsin, then USC, and so on without completely going through the rest of their schedule for the season. But Bryce looked really good, and sky's the limit, man. The Bryce Underwood era is definitely here, and the defense was so good too. And then even kind of looking at the offense, I mean, Justice Haynes, who transferred from Alabama, oh man, he had himself a game. I mean, he almost had 200 yards. I mean, he ended up with 159 yards and 3 touchdowns. He absolutely carved up that New Mexico defense, and he did pretty much whatever he wanted that game. And even Jordan Marshall, who's returning, I mean, he had 11 for 29. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's not, but like he still looked good. Like Haynes and Marshall is going to be a huge 1-2 punch for this Michigan team. I mean, again, you have a better quarterback, and that's no shade, especially like Davis Warren, but like obviously he was a third string quarterback for a reason. Although, hey, at least that number 16 can go into Columbus and the shoe and win, unlike another 16 that went in there on Saturday and lost. Not going to name names. I will later, but not going to name names. But you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, this is still a Michigan team. This is still Big Ten. Like, they're going to be pounding the rock and running the football and establishing the run game. And Haynes and Marshall is a huge 1-2 punch. Arguably, probably one of the best 1-2 punches in college football. I mean, I know there's some good ones. So I'm saying arguably, like, they're up there. They're going to be among the top 1-2 punches. I mean, again, you're kind of looking for receivers to stand out. At least in this game, it was Marlon Klein. He led the team in receiving yards. He went 6 for 93 and a touchdown. That was Bryce's lone passing touchdown. Again, it was because you had 3 from Haynes on the ground. So, but man, again, just this offense is going to improve. Like, yeah, you know, there was times, okay, but again, that's week 1. Expect some sloppiness. So, but man, this defense. Unfortunately, Michigan did turn the ball over. They had 1 fumble, so they didn't play a completely clean game, which you would like to see against, especially an opponent like New Mexico. But you can still also expect some sloppiness. I mean, that's just to be expected. But they recovered a fumble of their own, and then they also had 3 interceptions and 3 sacks. Like, that defense was completely dominant against New Mexico. And love to see it. Unfortunately, like I said, you didn't play a completely clean game offensively. So looking to improve on that as they head to Norman, Oklahoma, for them to play a clean game offensively, no turnovers. Now it's going to be hard because, again, you're playing in a hostile environment in Norman, Oklahoma. But I really hope they can play a clean game on Saturday night. But man, looking forward to looking ahead to that Oklahoma game. Again, just looking for Bryce to continue his improvement, improve every game, improve every week. But Oklahoma is 1-0 as well. I haven't seen, because usually it is on Monday. They still come out with it on Monday. So maybe, at least probably with it being Labor Day, they might not release the new rankings until tomorrow. So at least if they are, when I talk about the recap and then talk about the upcoming week of college football, hopefully the new rankings are up. There were some big losses ahead, so Michigan should move up in the rankings, and even Oklahoma will probably move up a little bit. So it probably won't be number 14 versus number 18. I don't see them making huge leaps. I'll say Michigan probably maybe only moves up a spot or 2. You know, they'll probably be 13th or 12th, and same with Oklahoma. They'll probably only move up a spot or 2. So you're probably looking at maybe number 12, 13 versus 16 or 17. So, but it'll be interesting with the rankings when they come out. Uh, the spread on this game, and not too surprising, uh, Oklahoma is favored in this game. So Michigan is the underdog. Oklahoma, now again, it's not a huge spread, and I've obviously, even with Oklahoma, kind of figured they would be. Semi surprised at how big, but again, it's not big. They are 5.5. I figured they might only be, you know, 2.5, 3.5 point favorites, but kind of doesn't surprise. It doesn't surprise me. Again, they're at home, so it doesn't surprise me that Oklahoma is the favorite team. Over under is, at least right now, set at 45.5. Because I expect some improvement from both teams offensively. But I mean, Venables has had good defenses at Oklahoma. It's just offensively they have struggled. And again, Michigan is going to be missing a key player on defense. As Joshua, I'm probably butchering, Barham was called for targeting in that game against New Mexico. Now, it's kind of controversial because it didn't look like targeting, and it shouldn't have been targeting. Obviously, Sharon Moore was hot about it, and even the Big Ten doesn't agree with the ruling, but the ruling was upheld, so he will be suspended in the first half against Oklahoma. So that's kind of a big loss in the first half for this Wolverines defense. My initial lean is kind of the under, because it is two really good defenses squaring off. And obviously, Underwood is a freshman, and then Machir at Oklahoma is a transfer from Wazoo, Washington State. So obviously, both are still learning the offenses, and you're still trying to learn. So at least initially, and again, this isn't betting advice, my initial lean kind of is the under, because I can see this just being a defensive game and both teams like struggling to get into the 20s, and kind of maybe whoever gets to 20 points first is going to end up winning this game. Again, Oklahoma can absolutely win this game. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm just not a believer, and I'm still kind of wondering what materials, because yeah, he put up good numbers at Washington State, but then in the bigger games against the bigger opponents, better opponents, he did struggle. And obviously, Oklahoma didn't really. Just looking, it was Illinois State. They played Illinois State last week, and they won. Oh, come on, load. 35-3. So again, okay, I don't know what they were favored by. I feel like that's not covering. Like they were, well, maybe. Okay, 32 points. So if they were around a 30, well, if they were 30, then they didn't. But I think they were like 34, 35 point favorites. So then obviously they didn't. Obviously they were close to covering. So, but I mean, you almost would have thought they would have put up 40 or 50 points on like Illinois State. But okay. So, okay. Again, you're looking at both offenses to try and show improvement this week. But again, and Venables was the former D coordinator under Dabo at Clemson before taking over the head coaching job at Oklahoma. So I think it is going to be a defensive fight, and most likely the first team to 20 is going to win this game. But, and I'm not going to give score, but I will say Michigan wins this game, gets to 2-0 on the season. So I think they will. I mean, even with a defensive game, Michigan has the defense to win. So, I mean, I know it's on the road. It's obviously a hostile environment, but I am confident Michigan can go into Norman and win this week on Saturday night as they'll play a night game in Oklahoma, in Norman at 6:30. And I'm actually going to be watching this game with some buddies of mine from church. So looking forward to watching with them and hopefully cheering on a Michigan victory. So, but in my next video, I will be previewing. Well, I haven't decided in the order, but at least the next couple videos I'll be previewing Mizzou's game, massive game against that school to the west, the Kansas Chicken Hawks. I'll be previewing that. I'll be previewing Nebraska's game against Akron, and also recapping the weekend that was week 1 of college football, and then previewing and giving out my picks for week 2 of college football for this weekend, and also be previewing the Chiefs season and then obviously their game Friday night against the San Diego Chargers in Brazil, and also the NFL week 1 as the NFL season kicks off Thursday night in Philadelphia as the Eagles will take on the Cowgirls. Obviously wish I was the Chiefs playing Thursday and not having lost the Super Bowl. But, all right. But those will be the next episodes. Not sure on order, but those are the next episodes. So with that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you can get notification when I post new episodes and those episodes that will come out later this week. And with that, thank you for watching. And again, happy Labor Day. Hope you all had a good one. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And go Blue! Hail to the victors, the conquering heroes.